Okay, we're already on week 14.2, and we're going to be doing the fourth lab for your PowerPoint project, your final project. And on this lab, you should be creating your backgrounds or your design themes, your transitions, how the slides move from one slide to another, and the animations. And that's how the objects come into the slide as you're doing your presentation. So the big difference between transitions and animations, some people tend to confuse them. The transition is how the slide goes from slide number 1 to slide number 2 and so forth and so on. The animation is the individual objects, how the title comes on, how the pictures come on, how the text comes onto the screen. So that's the difference between the two. So let's go take a look at these. So the first thing you have is your theme. You really want to set your theme before you do any of your transitions or any of that, because you may have to move things around like we talked about before. So if I go to the Design tab, this is where you are going to find your themes. And you can take a look here. I don't think black and white is real good for accounting. That's not, it probably is, but that's not what I want. The theme I'm going to choose, I would like to choose this one right here. I like this one. It's pretty plain. It's the least amount of changing that I'm going to have to do. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll through all of my slides, and I'm going to see what needs to be changed. I think that some of these colors need to be changed a little bit. Make them a little bit brighter with that dark background so that they can be seen easier. And this white probably doesn't show up real well. Let's see, let's try that yellow and make it bold. Maybe make my font a little bit larger. You're going to have to go through each and every slide. Look at this slide goes, this Smart Art fades into the bottom border. So I'm going to want to click on my Smart Art and move it up. Now it doesn't go into the footer. And I'm going to keep looking here. I'm going to scroll down each of my slides and see if there's anything else that needs to be changed just because of the change of theme. This here runs into the border. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over a little bit, my text, and then I'm going to move my object over. This one looks okay. This one looks okay. And I've created a new slide to show you something on animation. So now that those look okay, I'm ready to move on. You choose whatever background you want. It doesn't matter to me, just so it's pleasant to look at. Keep in mind, some of these themes, if you go to your design themes, some of them are real playful or something. Would you really want a purple background or one of these real bright backgrounds that you can find? Depending upon your audience, always consider who your audience is, and that's the most serious thing you should consider. Okay, so now I've got my ready to start doing my transitions. How are my slides going to move from one slide to another? So when I get done with my title slide, I'm going to go over here to the Transitions tab, and look at here. There is a lot of transitions. I can do this random bars. As you click on them, see, you have a preview to see what it looks like. You can choose whatever you want. You can also click on to open up for more, and here's your subtle effects. And if I click on it, this is what I'm going to get. Now I'm going to have to open this up again. I can go to exciting, which is a faster effect. There's your honeycomb. Okay, once again, it depends upon your audience. I would choose an entirely different theme or transition if I were talking to a board of directors versus if I was talking to a bunch of students. There is also a dynamic effect where it rotates. Now, I'm going to choose, what I'm going to choose is I'm going to choose one of these random bars. I'm going to choose that one. Over here towards the right, you can see other things that you can do this. Your effect options. Do you want it vertical? Do you want it horizontal? If I do it horizontal, there's the bars. Do I want a sound? I can do a sound. I can do a chime sound. I can do a drum roll. I can do any of these sounds. I also, if I wanted a sound, if I had a sound that I had saved in an MP4 file, I could do that. I can create my own sound. How long do I want this transition to take? I can specify how long it takes. So if I want it to take a little while because I have a lot to say, I may want to move this up to 4 seconds. Now, I'm going to go over here to the preview, and I'm going to look. See how slow that transition is? Now, if I move this back to 1 second, let's preview that again. You see the difference? You decide. When do I advance the slide? Do I advance it only when I click the mouse, or do I advance it over a specific amount of time? If I say I want to advance it over after 6 seconds, or let's go back to 5 seconds so I can talk a minute. Let's look at this. Now I'm going to go over to the slide view. See there how it did that? So I can choose how I want it to advance. I can also choose to apply this transition exactly the way I set it up to all of my slides, or I can choose it to only this slide. Now there's something I want to show you right here. You see right here? See that star with the movement on the lines on the side of it? That means that there is animation on this slide. So when I look at your presentations and I look to see if you've done animation, I can see here that you have animation. I can also go to the slide sorter view, and there's the animation, and it will tell me the timing that I've set. So there's different ways that you can see that. Now I'm going to move over to another slide, and let's do another form of transition. Let me see, let's choose this ripple. That one can be really confusing, so watch this. If you've got people that may get sick, that might not be a good one. Effect options, I can do it from the bottom left. See there? How it almost looks like waves. I can do it from the bottom right. Let me see if they have anything that is like a whoosh sound. Okay. Now that duration is awful fast, so I may want to slow that down. Now, here is where you can see, if I say I'm going to set this at 10 seconds, let's go back to the presentation and start at slide number 1 again. Okay? And you see here that this is automatically going to transition. I did not press any buttons. After 10 seconds, this moved forward. And it's not going to move from here because I don't have transition set on the next slides. So you can go on and set your transitions. Each slide can be different. They can all be the same. It's up to you. I'm going to do animations on a separate video so it is not so long. So we'll see you there. Here we go on animations. The animations are the way each of these objects, here's one object, here's another object, how these appear on the screen. Currently, if I go to the animations tab, there is no preview, there's nothing because I don't have any animations set up. If I go to the slideshow, both of these objects just appear. So we want to make it to where they come onto the screen in an attractive manner. But one thing about animations is be extremely careful. Some people have such busy animations that people get confused. They get distracted by all of the animations. So be careful when you do your animations. Now, this is the title, so we probably want to come in fairly conservative on the title. So we can have it just appear. Here's one animation where it just appears. Here's one where it flies in. Do you remember on this? I had a fly in on my presentation where I flew to Europe. When I go to the fly in and I go to the effect options, I have it fly in from the bottom. Now see, that's very, very fast. And if I do that preview again, once you choose your animation that you want, you can, just like on the transitions, you can have it, the duration slow down to where now if I do the preview, it's not as fast. It's much quicker. I mean, it's much nicer to look at. There's other animations, that effects that I'll show you in a minute. Now the accounting, the object that says accounting, you can have it fly in, and you can have it fly in from the bottom right. Now let's preview this whole thing. The major flies in. Now see, the accounting was way too fast. Let's do this preview again now that I've changed the timing. That's one way to do it. You can do any different ways. I'm going to go to slide 2. Well, let me go back to slide 1 and look at this. These tags right here, you see this 1 and this 2? Those are called animation tags, and that is the order that something is going to come in as your slide transition, after your slide transitions. So now, if I want to animate this Smart Art object, I'm going to open this up and look for more. There's entrance animations. There's emphasis, which is going to be faster. You can see in the background how this grow and shrink. You can have it lighten and darken, the transparency. You can do complementary colors. You can do fill colors. All kinds of things here. You can do it on exit. You can have it fly out after you've seen it. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to have it, no, I don't like that grow and shrink. I'm going to do the teeter to show you. This is a little bit, you know, you have to be careful with this one because it may make people dizzy in the back of a room. And the effect options, you see that it can't go from right, from left. This animation doesn't have that. You can have it all come in as one object. You can have it all at once, or you can have it come in one by one. See there how each one is rotating? So that's some of the choices that you have there. You can also change the timing there. You have an animation pane here that we're going to use in a minute, but I'm going to open that animation pane so you can see that. And that's right here. I'm now going to animate the title. And if I animate the title, I'm going to do a split, and I'm going to slow that down. Okay, now let's preview this. Okay, there's my objects, and each one of these I'm talking about it as it goes on. And each one here, okay, and there it is. Now comes my title. What's wrong with this? It's not in the correct order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my animation pane, and I'm going to take my title right over here, and I'm going to drag it up to the top. Now look, my animation pane is number 1, and all of my tags here, which one comes in next. Now on my preview. So don't worry about it if you get your animation out of order at the beginning. You can change it here. I can also, there's another way without opening up my animation pane. I'm going to change this back to where you see the tag. 1 is the background object, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all of these. And then number 7 is the title. If I click on the title and say I want to move it earlier over here, the far right, you can reorder the animation. Now look, I moved it to space number 1. Here, I'm going to go down here. Another thing with animation. Another thing that you can do the fly in. And if I do the fly in, see how these are flying in one at a time? On the effect options, I can have it come in as one object, all at once, or by paragraph. And of course on these you would probably want to slow it down on your timing. And then if I do my preview, it comes in slower. And also make sure that you do you want this only when you click the mouse, or do you want it to come in with the previous object, or how is it that you want this to come in? That's another one. One last animation I want to show you that you can play with is this new slide I created down here. This is the credits, and I'm going to pretend that there was a lot of people involved in creating this project. So when I click on more here and I go down here to more motion paths, one of the motion paths that I can do what I really wanted was I wanted more entrance effects. One of those is credits. And if I select this as credits, and here is my preview, and these are going to come onto the page, but take a look at what it does. Just like in a movie, it then continues off the page. So if you have a long list of effects, and I can have this come in one at a time. In this case, this is not going to work very well. But if I have it come in all as one object, it's going to do the same thing. I can also slow it down. So if I slow it down so people can read this better, see there is my credits. So I thought that was really cool. There is another object animation that I would like to show you, and if you click on the more, these motion paths. Do you see in the background how these are moving? This is moving in an arc. This is moving in a turn. There it's moving in a circle. There's a loop. There is a custom path. And what this is going to do is you tell it where it's going to start, and you can draw how you want your object to move. Now, that was very, very fast. I'm going to change the duration and I'm going to show you. Sometimes there's things that you want to animate like this. It's very interesting, but make sure to slow them down so you don't distract your audience. So play with these animations. They really can be fun. If you do a motion path here, you see the dotted line. This will not appear on your presentation. So if I go to my presentation here, there is my animation. Okay, so as you can see, I have some really crazy animation on this presentation. If I were to play the whole thing, I think it would be very distracting to you. So, good luck, have fun.